Welcome. I'd like to call to order the March 24th meeting of the Health and Education Committee. First thing we need is approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, there's no report from Community Care, so Ms. Garrett, if you want to come on up, we'll do Health Department.
Hello.
Hey,
So I didn't report to you guys last month. You're on your field trip. So I brought January and February's report, and they're both on your iPad. Can we do them together, or?
It's your basic report. I have no objection to that.
So we're right on track with what we would expect. We're still seeing growth in our WIC program and in our Smyrna site. Every month we continue to see that go up. The state is putting some extra positions to help us with that. So as you know, we've been asking for that for a while, so we're excited. And that's a little amendment I've got to bring to y'all in just a second that we'll talk about. But so they're adding a little bit more help.
And what will those folks do?
Well, right now they're adding 4 peer breastfeeding counselors, so they'll help pregnant moms that are having trouble with breastfeeding, or women who are thinking about breastfeeding, any questions they might have. And then they'll, and that's 4 full-time positions that they're adding for that. And we'll put those in, we'll have 5 total. So we'll have some here in Murfreesboro and some in Smyrna. So that will help a little with our WIC. We've also reallocated some staff from Murfreesboro down to Smyrna, an extra nurse, an LPN that we have to hire into that position. And so that extra help will help, I think, the flow. And because I think if we put more appointments in, we could even make, have more demand met. So there's just a huge demand for those services. We want to make sure we're constantly tweaking that and making sure we've got the staff where they need to be. So we continue to see that. Our dental numbers are really increasing. We've got all kinds of programs going with them where we're trying to really focus on children, but we do help the adults too. There's some adult emergencies that we try to take care of. And now that we have a full-time dentist on board, and we've had one consistently for a while now, we can start to see some steady year-to-year data that we can look at and compare. We worked on
and that's just, the dental one is just out of Murfreesboro?
It is.
Has there been any talk about moving to Smyrna for a day, a week, or every 2 weeks or anything
It's
like
just
that?
the
or is it just
specialized
difficult?
equipment
Okay.
that goes along
Yeah,
with
I
them.
can't
It is
move
difficult. We've been partnering with St. Thomas Rutherford. They have a mobile health unit that they're outfitting with a dental chair and dental equipment. And so one of our goals is to work with them
Okay.
to maybe provide the staff, and they provide the building, and we
Right.
kind of go to the higher risk areas
Okay.
where there might be some shortage or disparities. But that's a good question. And then in some of the more rural areas, the state has a bus where they'll go to some certain schools or that.
Yeah.
And here what we try to do is set up transport with the schools. They'll actually send kids over.
I just saw the last 2 months the numbers were 0, so I was just wanting
Yes.
to know what we could do to get
Yeah.
to Smyrna.
Yeah, and there's Smyrna people in that
Sure.
mix.
Yeah,
We
they come
just,
up here, but-
they're just come here, yeah.
Okay.
It's 11 miles between the 2 sites. So for those specialty things like colposcopy and dental, where you have such specialty items and equipment,
Can't move the equipment.
it's hard to move.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
hard to move. And Smyrna City Hall put on an emergency preparedness fair. We were played a role in that as well, going out to educate people on how to be prepared, how to prepare food in an emergency, like if you don't have electricity, how to maintain hygiene, and did several presentations, had a good turnout of that in Smyrna, and we did that as one of our prevention projects. Remember, our goal is to try to protect, promote, and improve the health and prosperity of the residents of Rutherford County. So one of those ways is to teach them about prevention topics and be prepared and that.
You had your mayor's walks last year. Did you make it through
Yes.
all the mayors? Did you make it through all the walks?
No, we haven't gotten to all of them, and we're about to start back up again now that the weather is pretty. We plan on doing some in April, May, and June, and trying to we've hit 11 of the 21 of y'all's districts, so
Okay.
we're getting there. And I have a student intern this year, and she's working on getting those maps online,
Okay.
so people can go back and resource where in my community is there a place where I can walk. So that's one of our projects. We're working with the IT people here in the county to get that going.
Okay,
as
so
well.
yeah, when you know that schedule, just feel free to share it with us, just to
Okay.
get the word out.
Sure. Any other questions?
Check with City Hall. They have Parks and Rec with City Hall, Laverne. They have a good place to walk up there at the park.
Yeah, they're doing some greenway expansion, or trying to start a greenway. They got a little grant in Laverne to do that, so that's kind of exciting too.
Yeah.
To see that. I'd like to have a kickoff there or something, and they get that going.
Awesome. Are there any questions for Ms. Garrett? Okay.
So moved.
We need a second.
Second.
Very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Ms. Garrett. Thanks for understanding about our field trip last month.
Oh, yes, yeah, thank y'all. The last thing I have is the paper copy. I didn't get it sent in for the iPad, but it's the, we have a grant with the state that pays for a lot of our positions at the health department. So they're county employees, but the state reimburses every dollar of their expense. And this is the contract where they're adding those peer breastfeeding counselors that I talked about. And so they needed to amend the contract, and I need to take this on to budget, so I wanted to get y'all's approval to take that on through the process. Nothing's really amending to it except just adding those positions. It doesn't cost any cost to the county. It's just getting the paperwork in line with the contract.
How many?
Is that the 43,
I'm sorry.
43,800? Is that the increase? Is that the change?
On the front.
Oh, yes,
That's the
yes,
change.
yes, sir, yeah. And this contract is for a year, so it's showing their salaries only for 6 months.
Is it
You know.
two people adding? How many you're adding?
We're adding 4.
4.
Mhm.
Any
So-
questions?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Second.
Awesome. Will you do a roll call?
It's up to you. You can do it either way.
We'll err on the side of caution. Have a roll call.
Commissioner Cook? Yes.
Commissioner Dodd?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Commissioner Nipper?
Yes.
Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Commissioner Turner?
Yes.
Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
Yeah, almost forgot that.
Is there anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you guys so much.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
You too.
Ms. Della, you're up. School, special projects.
I don't have anything to point out. I'm a broken record when it comes to that. But if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them.
There was no activity from last month when we,
I mean, just payment of a few bills, very few bills.
Have you found any money for the bleachers for the schools?
We'll have to talk to the man back
You're going to hear me
there.
ask that question now.
all right. We've had this report for a while, so any questions?
Motion to approve the report.
Very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, school board.
We are here this evening, of course, to come back to request funding of $900,000 for design of the middle school and $1.2 million for the pad, the site work, and $800,000 for the elementary pad and site work also. One thing that we have learned is that when you bring the construction equipment on site, and we did this at Stewart's Creek before we did it, we've done it at Rock Vale. We did there, and much of it's done really at Whitworth Buchanan area. that it's much better at that time to go ahead and develop your site work while you have equipment there, to do it at that time, so that you're not kind of patching later or dealing with that. So our recommendation would be for that 800,000 also in the elementary. This is kind of timely with Nissan announcing 1,000 more employees last week. So our desire is to really get on with the design. You've approved the purchase of the property, and we're about through with the testing on that, is to start beginning to look at the design and the pad to try to open it in 17. Our desire
How much property is it?
75 acres.
for the two.
Is that for 2 schools, or
Yeah.
is there,
Two.
or is that even a spot where it might need a future high school? I guess it's gonna be pretty close to.
That would be enough, but it's not, wouldn't be easy to develop as much.
Right.
Wouldn't be as-
So it's already under contract, identified and everything. Where is it then, if y'all can say?
It's off Rocky Ford.
Okay.
We're doing the
Oh, for
boundary
where?
survey
Rocky
and
Ford.
getting ready to close on the property in a couple, 3 weeks.
If they ever get that interchange, Rocky Fork will change. How about it? I totally agree with doing all the site work at once. You have to go back and start tearing up things amongst all the parent traffic and school traffic from the school that's already built, so I completely agree with that. And the design of the school, we've had an argument in the past that you can always design the school and put it on a shelf if we don't get the funding money for an extra year or something like that. So we can do the design, it's gotta be done regardless, and have it done.
Well, this helps Ms. Nolan when she's planning for the borrowing and that sort of thing. If we wait much longer, you're in a different cycle.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're trying to do, is to meet this cycle.
We can build the site without having the plans fully designed. We're just building a footprint large enough for.
We'll be able to build a pad. We know what the design on the footing is for soil load and those types of things. We know the size of it. We can build a pad for that, for the elementary school, and also all the roads, get all those roads cut, get them roughed in and ready to go.
We are replicating designs closely. You know, typically you're 6.5% for architect fees. What is it we're doing now by replicating?
We're doing 3%. So
I mean, it's
basically,
hugely different.
they're the biggest design factor on the new buildings is the site work. So, and then we do the upgrades and changes on the prototypes as they come to us, and we realize that we've got to change, or if the instructional demands change, we change some stuff on the inside.
We reap some benefit by having one mobilization and working on 2 sites.
Yes, sir.
The design estimate or the site work estimate was presented to us previously.
It was.
Is it discounted now because we allowing the mobilization? You understand the question?
We had all of this in the original motion back, was it January?
I think they were thinking and doing all the site work the whole time.
And so it was there, and it was removed
That
out.
was a value.
So you
Yeah,
can-
yeah, that was, learned that lesson several years ago.
Was it in the Blackman site? That seems too far back to me, but I can't think where else it would have been, where we incurred, maybe see, we incurred higher costs when we went back in for the second school than we had anticipated.
Stewart Creek is the first one that we did one mobilization on and did all the, even for the site work for the high school, for the middle school, and the elementary school.
Because Rockville has already built.
That's right.
For the high school?
Yeah. That's a great idea.
Typically, it's going to, if you wait in 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, whatever, it's going to cost you more when you do it the next time. You know, construction costs go up. So that would, our motion would be to approve 2.9 million in funding for new Smyrna schools, 900,000 for the design of the new middle school, 1,200,000 for the middle school site work, and 800,000 for the site work on the adjoining elementary school. Basically what our board approved.
You brought up a good point with, the expansion for Nissan with 1,000 potential jobs. I mean, how many did the papers say that we added, 800 students this year, right around there so far.
We're probably in the 400 range
400, well,
this year, so.
Even if 50% of those families have one kid, that's one company that changes the growth to what we're at right now just by themselves. And
And this year was an anomaly. We're gonna
Yeah.
have a lot more than 400 or
Yeah.
500 with
Yeah.
overall
Yeah.
Creek or whatever the name of it is opening, and also the free breakfast for all the kids, you know.
That'd be,
We'll be banking that 1,000,
Yeah.
1,200
Right.
number
Yeah. Right.
this fall, I would think, you know.
they grew by 500 or 600 or so or more. They're up to 8,000. And, you know, had they not built a school or any changes, you would have had another 800 or so
Right.
a year. That's just where you're going to be.
Yeah, that's my point, is it's coming. I'll make if there's no questions, Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve the funding request as presented.
Second.
Very good. All in favor?
We're just gonna vote it, won't it?
Are we doing roll call?
You don't have to, but we can.
Well-
It's not like a budget amendment,
Right.
but
Okay.
it can go either way, but I'll be happy to do roll call.
Roll call, it's fine.
I can give you numbers of schools that it would impact if you're interested in that sort of thing. That'll help you. You know,
We're just ready to vote, right?
Yeah, I think we're okay. Thank you, though.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner Dodd?
Yes.
Commissioner Jordan?
Yes.
Commissioner Nipper?
Yes.
Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Commissioner Turner?
Yes.
Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Awesome. I was looking back at the dates you gave us before on the projected of when we need to hit, and we're already really 1 month behind, I think, from what you'd hoped to have, so I'm glad that we're not holding it up.
It's better to be a little ahead.
Sure.
Before we be able to
Yes,
start.
I was going to try to beat you to the punch, but I'll let you go ahead because I think I know what you were going to say.
I was going to say, the last meeting that I attended here, I sat back a little bit by your request to take a look at David Urey and a canopy that would protect the loading and unloading of our special ed children there.
Right.
And that was totally news to me, but I did go up and investigate it the very next day, and there was a definite need there, and it's under construction now. There's a canopy that covers that entire walkway, so 2 or 3 cars can unload there in that area without getting children wet.
Yeah, that's
So,
good. Thank you. That's what I was going to tell you. I've got calls that next day because people at the school knew we had discussed it, and I know they're very excited. So thank you for doing that.
Well, thank you for bringing it up to me. You know, like I said, that was totally shocking.
Sure.
We were-
Well, it's sometimes God puts you down different paths in life that you might not think about, and that's where we've been placed. So I'd like for us to look at all the schools to make sure not just the special education students at David Urey are taken care of that way, but any of the other schools, same types of situations might apply where we need to look at those too to make sure they're covered and not out in the rain in wheelchairs and things like that. So thank you for doing that because I know it meant a lot to them. I had teachers even reach out to me saying that they were excited about it. So thank you for considering
The
that.
new middle school design has the drive
Mhm.
under.
Yeah, we have the
Richard.
drive under
Yeah.
for
Right.
and our new design, but if any commissioners see a need like that,
Yeah.
please let me know. Just call me at the office and I'll try to take care of them. And one more little issue. On the status report, you saw that we were 79,000 in the hole. We just had a deductive change order written this week for 140,000. So there'll be a $50,000 or $60,000 surplus on that job right now. The next time.
But it's elementary money, not high school.
That's right.
Elementary.
Already shared, right?
Yes. How are we in the progress at Eagleville?
On the construction project, I was out there today. We're 7 or 8 days away from having the brick complete. We're 3 weeks away from having the building totally dried in. All the rough ends are done on the back half of the building on the interior, and it is dried in over the classroom. This main area is the auditorium. that doesn't have a roof on it right now. So within the next 30 days, we should be totally in the dry and should be starting the interior finishes on everything. So it's coming together. It'll be ready in the fall.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Also on the property that you helped us out with, we're very grateful for that. We had another $24,000 in there above what we paid for it in our request, which you passed, and the commission passed. So we're using that money to extend a water line over there to that property, and also we'll be putting some power onto the property and putting leveling off the side and getting it ready and prepped for football practice, keep someone from turning an ankle or tearing something up.
We're also disassembling the old sewage treatment plant there.
Yeah, I saw that.
Bill Tollett said they would miss that, the kind of unique smell.
I also checked that today while we're out there, and that is demolished and filled in.
Yeah, they were doing that Saturday, I saw.
Yeah, they were.
We have one left, you know, right, we'll have one left, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have, we've concentrated on those sewer plants at our schools over the last few years. And through capital improvements, which you folks fund, we had 5. We are down to 1 now that we lack. And that's at Buchanan Elementary School. Once we get that one taken care of, we'll totally have all the state stuff off of our plate. And when we replace those with systems that are, you know, maintenance free basically, so that won't be a burden on the taxpayers anymore after we get the one in Buchanan. Now, if someone starts a development out there or funds the sewer that will go by there to the city, then we'll try to use that. But if that doesn't happen over the next couple of years, we will put in a drip system out there, which will take care of that. It'll be much cheaper than us trying to extend the sewer over there.
Any questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody have anything else for this committee? All right. We are adjourned.
Thank you, Chairman.
Well, I have to thank the school board so much. We had no idea how much work behind the scenes must go into compiling the 2 sheets you put in front of us, you know? I just have to tell you how much I appreciate just, Mr. Carter, your proactiveness whenever anything like this is brought up. And, you know, Jeff, I'm sure you're the unsung hero over there getting all this, you know, getting all the numbers together. So I just have to say thank you. You have a great team.
These people.
I can't pat on him too much because he'll get all proud. So, he already knows I'm his biggest fan, so we're good.
Thank you.
I have to say thanks so much.
Madam Chairman.
I didn't recognize that cap on.
I never seen what kind.
So when we met on the tour we did this fall, yeah, on his cap.
50 more minutes.
If it's cool outside, if the sun's shining, I'm wearing a hat. Wearing a hat. Mayor, how are you?
I did too.